news, bits and bobs. Stay tuned and all will be revealed. Well, good afternoon everyone and welcome to Piccadilly Eastway. Now this is a bit of a news video, so there will be a few things to mention and talk about on this particular video. But first up is this Hornby Tiger. Yes, a very sad and sorry sight, which is the Hornby Tiger. Now, many of you may already have one of these models and it may run absolutely beautifully for you, but for me, this was an absolute disaster. Now, I spoke to the designer, as I said in a previous video, at the NEC show, and he really wanted to help and get this sorted out. So he got in touch with the technical department and they got in touch with me. And after a few emails back and forth, they said they would send out some parts to help me out. Now, that one was December the 9th. And I must admit, I hadn't heard anything for quite a long time. So it was about 6 to 8 weeks afterwards that I finally got an email come back, thinking that they would say that they would send out this, 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 and this. But no, not at all. They are not able to send out any parts whatsoever. Now, they said they haven't got any particular parts that would be suitable for this particular model. So it will be rusted up. It will be, I will remove those wires from underneath between the chassis and the locomotive and put a static drawbar in there. It will be made to look as if it could run, so I'll reconnect the conrod, but it will be glued and it will sit on the layout as a memorial to what could have been. Now, do I still have the Rapido version that I bought, which would have been Lion? Yes, I do. And that runs absolutely beautifully. And it's on the shelf at the moment, just out the way, whilst I'm doing big construction work, if you like, along with rockets. That's also up there. And some of you may remember a long time ago, I bought Locomotion number 1. And that is currently in its box at the moment purely because of that very, very delicate mechanism on top of the locomotive, but that runs beautifully as well. So all three of those other locomotives do run really, really, really well. So they will be making an appearance soon when I put in the upper level. Can't say when that'll be though. Okay, speak soon. And first up is this plastic tool cabinet from Amazon. And one of the reasons I like it is because it's huge. Now, many that you buy are tiny and you can hardly fit anything in the individual drawers. But look at the size of it. It's 18 inches tall. And if we take the tape measure across, you'll see it's about 15 inches wide. And I would say about 7 or 8 inches deep as well. Now, when we open the drawers then, you'll see they are absolutely enormous. Look at that. So you can fit an abundant amount of stuff in there. And you've also got this slot going halfway down for a divider. Voila. So those will fit in there too, should you want to use them. And so not only have you got an enormous amount of drawers, but you can actually split them in two as well. Now, I know it's not model railway related directly, but it is certainly to do with the upkeep of a model railway itself, isn't it? Right, next up, so you will see I'm back onto these lines where the Flirts live, or the Flirt, I should say. Hold your horses on that one. So basically I've got two lines ready for a Flirt, and this one, well, I needed somewhere to put the RHTT, and I didn't really want to use a whole line of the large traverser for that because it would only take up half a track, and I can't see the value in that. So what I've done is extended this probably by another couple of 100 mil, and then hopefully that should fit very nicely in there. That's the plan. And voila, you can see now it's all in situ, and I've also put down the sidewalls to stop it from falling off the edge. And as you can see, it just fits. If I take you to this end, you can see it's actually up against the foam. Now, if I was to take it any further, it would be hitting the bottom of the ramp. So I have cut out that V shape just to make sure it doesn't hit, and the train's not going to fall off there coming around that bit there. It'll be absolutely fine. So I think in my situation particularly, it's quite important that every train has its own location for storage, and that way then it can go from and to that location. These nuclear flask wagons will be going into that siding just over there behind the 108 and in front of the APT. It's a bit difficult to show you, but the main reason is because I want to leave the main traverser for longer trains. Now the 800 is probably the shortest train that I want in there, and I will be getting some more at another point. I'd like some LNER ones, at least one or maybe two. We'll see how it goes, but time will tell, I'm sure. Okay, then next up. So you may remember a couple of months ago, I bought this 60, and I bought it as DCC ready, and just put a normal decoder in, which was, I think, an AE decoder. And whilst it ran very well, I only had front lights. I didn't have any other lighting functions whatsoever, not even rear lights. Why that didn't work, I don't know. According to this card, I did switch it to this set here, which is for non-ESU, and that didn't make any difference whatsoever. I did play around with these switches, and again, it just did nothing. I don't know whether that was because of the decoder. I did try it with the DAPL decoder as well, and again, nothing. So I'm kind of hoping that the locomotive is all right, but we'll soon find out, won't we? Anyway, looking at Richard's video from New Junction when he did this, the body just comes off, just kind of like that, and just pull those up, and indeed it does. That comes off very nicely indeed. Right, so there we go then. So obviously I've taken the body off, as you saw. I've removed the decoder, and all the different components are just here. Now, I'm presuming this will go in that position there, and that will plug into this socket just here. So that will go in there. Just giving it a push on both sides. It goes in very nicely. And then that will sit kind of like that. And then I've got two clips. And this is when I realised that the clips weren't going to work. They were a tad too wide, and to be honest, I ended up breaking one. So it wasn't going to go in and stay put. So best solution would be a lump of black tack at either end of the speaker. Right, so just before I put the decoder on, I've got this, just to zoom out a little bit, and it's saying at the top here that with an ESU decoder you have to make sure that 1 and 3 are on. So if I just zoom in, hopefully you can see they are all set to the same positions as required. And then the decoder, as you can see, that's got the cutout at this end. And looking at that, the cutout is that end. So that goes on that way around. Just checking that it's all lined up. That's right, so I've got the decoder all lined up. So I'm ready just to give it a firm push in. There we go. So that should be nice and firm now. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a, I think what I'll do is I'm going to take this clip off, because it's not good, that one. Right, that's got it. I've just put the black tack over the top. It's not looking great, but hopefully you can see what's happened with those. They don't want to grip. There's supposed to be a little foot on the bottom of those, but that side particularly is just, well, bent over, I think. Okay then, so I've got the 60 on the test track, as you can see, and is connected directly to the Z21. Now, do I actually have any lights now? Well, I've certainly got front lights with tail lights. Yes, I do. That's a relief, isn't it? You might remember me saying on a previous video that I didn't have the tail lights with the AE decoder, nor the dapole one, I have to say. I only had the front lights and the instrument panel lights, or desk lights. Anyway, let's give the sound a go. Start the engines. Now, I have to be honest, it started this time. Yeah, that does sound lovely, doesn't it? But I have got a bit of a query, if anybody knows the answer. There's been times I've switched off the engine and tried to restart it, and it won't. The function number 1 doesn't do anything. Now, I know it's not just this locomotive, because I've seen a video with it happening to somebody else. So if anybody's got the solution to it, that would be handy to know. I know taking it off the track and disconnecting the locomotive from the power does solve the issue to some degree on that particular occasion, but again, it happens again in the future. So if you know, maybe it's a CV change or something, but if you know what to do there, please let me know. I'd appreciate it. Anyway, let's have a listen to some of these sounds. Now, I've got the card so you can see what I'm looking at. Now, I've put a selection into the Z21. I haven't put them all in by any means, because to be honest, there's some there that I won't use. So like all of us, we all choose our best ones, don't we? But anyway, low horn. Okay, fair enough. Heavy train mode. Now this is a good one, so I'm going to put it drive lock on and heavy train mode so it don't go anywhere. And let's have a listen to that. And I'll be honest, I've tried this on the track with heavy train mode, and it pulls away very slowly. Very nice indeed. There's more sounds to come yet. If you saw Richard's from New Junction's video on this. A bit more. So you can really get that feel of the power that's being generated there. So I'll stop that now and take that off. And I better apply the... I know I'll do that. I don't want to... Shouldn't go off anywhere, but anyway, so that's that one. Coupling. You probably heard that. Now, desk lights, it's a little bit difficult to show you this, but I'll do my best. There they are. Oh, it's not. Okay, and so two-tone horn. Okay, fair enough. Cab door. Okay, fair enough. I've got breakers number 2. I can't really show you that. I can't really show you flange squeal either. But in typical Acura scale fashion, you've got hall sensors at either end. And once you turn that on, it does actually activate when it goes around the corners. It's very, very nice, I have to be honest. Tail light. If I put, you can see the red lights hopefully at this end. If I turn that lamp off, hopefully you'll see the tail lights a bit better now. So if I press that, they should go off. And if I then reverse the direction, I've then got top and tail, and you'll notice the white lights go off. That's very good for double heading, particularly. Cab window. It's a click and then a ch, so it's not very clear on that one. But if I now go to cab lights, yes, look at that. If I reverse it, if the reverse direction, I should have cab lights at the other end. Hopefully you can see that. So that's all very lovely. Next one, I'll take that off now. Night lights. Hopefully you can see the lights switching from one side to the other. Sanders. Spirex valve. You might be able to hear that, but it becomes its own when you switch shut down, I promise you. Hazard lights. Look at that. Now, I think it's only on the white end, but the white lights are indeed flashing. And shunt lights. So I'm not sure. We've got red lights on at that end, so I'm not sure quite what that does and what that means. So again, if anybody knows, because it seems to have shut off the white lights, and as I said, the red lights are on. Perhaps if I reverse the direction, well, yeah, there's nothing special about that one. And radiator room, now that I do like. Hopefully you can see that. Very nice indeed. And there we go then. So let's just hear the shutdown sequence and then we'll finish. And you can hear the Spirex valves do kick in. And I'll be honest again, they seem to keep going forever and ever and ever and ever. I can manually switch them off, but again, if anybody knows, is there a CV to change that will do that automatically? I would love to know. So two things, if you know the answers to these. One, is there a CV change for either making sure the sound comes on when you press it? Because sometimes it doesn't, and you have to do a loco reset by removing it from the track. And also the Spirex valves as well. Is there an automatic shutdown on those? But I absolutely love it now. It was a gorgeous loco before without the sounds fitted, but it just makes it with these sounds in it now. Anyway, let's get it on the track, shall we? And finally, I did say I was going to try and get a hold of another 3-car Flirt, and this one has literally just arrived. Now this is the one with the symbols on the windows there. You can probably just about make those out. And so the two have very different running numbers. This one is 332 and the other one, which is just there, is 755327, I believe. But anyway, so I was really glad to get a hold of this one because Hornby did not announce another 3-car Flirt in their current catalogue. They probably will in the coming years, but I'm not sure the 3-car has sold quite as well as the 4-car version. So you never know. This might be it for the 3-car version. You just don't know. But if you are interested in getting one, it's not too late. Kernow Model Centre do have a few of these particular ones, and they're selling them off for around about 40 odd £50 cheaper than the price that I paid for the one you just saw actually on the layout. So you know, that's up to you if you choose to go and get one. Now it's probably going to be a while before this appears regularly on the layout because I need two HM7021 pins decoders to go with it. So I'm not going to run the risk of putting two non-standard or different decoders in it, because you just never know how it's going to react. The motors are designed for the HM7000, so I will be using it for that. I will put it onto the layout on DC, on the 12-volt DC, so we can just get it running, and I'll just put a few shots of that at the end as well, along with the 60. But anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm just really pleased to have sound in the 60, and I'm really pleased to get this model as well. So anyway, you just take care of yourself, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye bye for now.